current programming. But first, yes, just Canada.
Never settle down. Where pretty girls are, well, they know that I'm around. I kiss them and I hug them, kiss to me.
Good morning, Mr. Sayle.
I hug them and they don't even know my name. They come out a wanderer.
Good morning, Alexei. Have a good weekend.
I roam around. Well, so on my left, the man with Mary on my right. Jamie is the girl that I'll be with tonight. And when she asks me which one I love the best, I'll say open my chest, show her Rosie on my chest, 'cause I'm the wanderer. Oh yeah, the wanderer. I roam around.
Who's that fat bastard?
Hello. This week I want to have a look at the way childhood influences the formation of our personality. I had a terrible childhood myself. My father worked down the mines, which wasn't easy when you're a hat manufacturer. Life was very difficult for me because, you see, both my parents were members of the Communist Party. Me mum had never let me join the Scouts or the Boys' Brigade because they are neo-imperialist fascist cadre groups. I could have joined the Woodcraft folk, paramilitary wing of the Co-op. Well, I didn't fancy that, quite honestly, so in the end, I joined the Soviet Red Army, age of 7½. I was in the Merseyside branch of the 9th Gorky Riders.
We apologise for the absence of Alexei Sayle in this week's edition of Alexei Sayle's Stuff. We're attempting to right the problem, but in the meantime, the programme will continue in Leslie Crowther only.
But I remember the bestest thing about my childhood was the Saturday afternoon drives to Stalingrad. We'd all pile into the old converted Panzer hatchback, have a paddle in the Black Sea, cream tea on the Odessa steps, and still be home to listen to our favourite show on the radio.
How old is your grandfather, Mrs. Stetson?
He's 73, and he's very infirm, and up to now we've received the £4.50 bedridden allowance. But now I've had a letter from the Social Security to say this may be withdrawn, as he sometimes gets up to go to the toilet.
Yes, well, it will depend on how many times his feet actually touch the ground. Can he hop at all?
I'm sorry?
Well, if he can hop to the lavvy, he may qualify for a reduced benefit of £3.86 a week.
Well, he can just about hobble around if he holds on to the poodle.
Well, he won't get any benefit there. You'd be better off nailing one of his feet to the floor, which would entitle him to £1.29 partial immobility allowance.
I see.
How are his waterworks, Mrs. Stetson?
Well, I mean, they're a bit dicky, actually.
Right. Have you tried claiming the £3.47 incontinence relief?
Well, I mean, we're loath to do that, as we've been told it might cut off his fire risk payment.
That is a problem, isn't it, for the old folk?
Yes, I'm afraid people with leaky bladders are, by law, deemed to have their own emergency sprinkler system. So it's swings and roundabouts, really. Have you and your family taken a government means test at all?
Yes, but we failed on the trigonometry.
Yes, a lot of people find helical calculus a tricky one. What about medical insurance? Have you got any?
Oh, no.
Oh, dear. I have.
Oh, good. Well, you should be fine then.
Will I?
Yeah, I mean, you'll receive first-class treatment. No problems at all.
Oh, lovely. That is nice to hear. Thank you very much indeed.
No, not at all. Thanks for calling.
Right, thank you. And who's our next government minister who wants to annoy Mrs. Stetson?
Well, we're pleased to say we've sorted out those gremlins earlier on, and we're now able to return you to Alexei Sayle.
Politics. I'm very much involved in politics. Quite left-wing. I'm something of an anarchist. There, told you so. I haven't got much faith in the Labour Party. I haven't got much faith in Neil Kinnock. I mean, if I wanted a bald Harold Wilson, I would have asked for one. George Bush, he's a bit worrying, isn't he, really, eh? I mean, you know, Francis Bacon said, knowledge is power. Well, if knowledge is power, George Bush is a 2-watt light bulb. A man so stupid he has to sit face down in an armchair because he hasn't mastered reverse yet. One of the weird things about the left is their obsession with slogans, writing slogans on walls, you know, slogans like jobs, not bombs, as if Mrs. Thatcher's going to be walking up Wigan High Street. Oh, jobs, not bombs. Oh, okay. I mean, Mrs. Thatcher would have a clue where Wigan was. Mrs. Thatcher has special compasses made with the north taken off. You know, I do a lot of left-wing benefits, and one of the weird things about left-wing audiences is that you tell a joke, there's a 5-second delay in which the joke is politically vetted, and then they laugh. Like you say, Stalin was a bit of a loony, wasn't he? They go, Stalin was a bit of a loony. Yes, I've got definite disagreements with Stalin of the collectivization of the kulaks, yes. And they're really worried, you know, in case you say anything suspect. You know, like you say something like, these two women go into a shop, right? They go, oh my God, he's mentioned women. Oh my God, he's mentioned women. He's going to say they're lesbians in a minute. We're going to be laughing at lesbians. Oh no. He's going to say they're black and we're going to be laughing at black lesbians. Oh my God, no, no, no. I mean, honestly, that is not my style. Anyway, these two black lesbians go into a shop.
Excuse me.
Yeah? Petite.
What are you doing?
Oh, nothing. It's the petite microchip's broken in the petite reader, so we petite have to do it ourselves. It's always bloody me. Me. Oh, sorry about this. Me. Oh. Right, there you are then, sir.
How much is that?
No idea. The microchip's gone.
How do I pay you?
Oh, I know. I'll put it through the till. Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep, beep. Beep, beep, beep.
Is that till working?
Beep, beep, beep.
Excuse me, is that till working?
No, I'm afraid the microchip's gone. So I've had to switch it to vocal override.
Look, couldn't you just add it up by hand?
I don't think they make a microchip hand, do they? Well, I wouldn't know what sort of noise to make. I suppose I could go sort of,
I happen to be in a hurry, and I just
Oh, in
want
that case, I just have to lie down in my basket, sir.
What?
Do not fondle that water buffalo. His toupee has fallen down a mine shaft. This mackerel has contracted rabies, and his mother was Leslie Balvar. 4 years, give no...
Oh, terribly sorry about that, sir, but microchip's gone, I'm afraid. And we can't do anything about it because the manufacturers... The manufacturers simply don't... pick up the phone when we speak to... Look, for God's sake, will somebody please... turn that bloody car alarm off! This Tandy home computer is powered by a microchip which is the size of a toenail and is almost as intelligent. Everybody's got them these days, haven't they? Oh yes, we've just bought a 3rd generation Gooseberry 442B with integrated ceramic sunflower poke and 5 million snots of memory. We only use it to address envelopes and defrost the occasional pizza. But it's a real investment in technology. Oh, by the way, do you know the Trish and I have split up? Yes, we found our disk drives weren't compatible. You go down any high street and you see millions of people spending vast amounts of money on small black plastic boxes that can think like Bernard Breslau and talk like Sparky's Magic Piano. Even Jeffrey Archer's got a word processor. But I don't know. Does it really need him? Good morning, sir. I'm in trouble.
Where have you been? I phoned 2 hours ago to say we'd broken down in flames.
Ah, that's right, sir. Unfortunately, we sent a fleet of vans to the Village of Flames in Dorset.
I didn't know there was such a place.
There isn't, madam. That's what caused the delay. There is a small hamlet called Sizzles in Cornwall, where we did send an AA helicopter on the off chance, but you weren't there either.
Of course we were. We were here.
I myself made a detour through Smouldering in Lancashire.
We just turned up this lane when there was this terrible grinding noise.
Grinding noise.
So we stopped the car and got out, and that's when we noticed flames.
What, you can see Dorset from here?
Flames from under the bonnet.
Oh, I see. Well, let's have a little look-see, shall we? Right, when was this car first registered?
November 1982.
November 82. That will make it Sagittarius. It's your tyre pressure.
Sagittarius?
Yes, you see. Look, travel is indicated, so put on those party clothes. But watch that tyre pressure. Cars can't lie, sir.
Are you telling me you use horoscopes to repair cars? That's ridiculous.
Yes, it is, isn't it, sir? Yes. Perhaps it was registered before the 23rd. That'd make it a Scorpio. Yes, here we are. Tomorrow's new moon means a romantic involvement will put you in a spin. And your brake fluid will leak at the master cylinder, causing excessive travel on the pedal.
I don't believe this.
Tomorrow, your social circle will widen, making you the envy of all. And your small end valve cylinder will develop a persistent rattling noise.
This man is driving me close to insanity.
Is that insanity in Hampshire, sir, or Kent?
Look, we're AA members and we're stranded here miles from anywhere.
Oh, right. Well, in that case, sir, for an extra £4 a year, you could join our AA Restart scheme.
Well, what does that involve?
Well, if you break down anywhere in the United Kingdom during the day or night, you can ring up Derby County Football Club and they'll send out their physiotherapist.
We apologize to viewers in some areas of the country who may still be experiencing interference from Leslie Crowther on their screens. This is due to freak atmospheric conditions, and there is therefore no need to adjust your set. Thank you.
You know, holidays are a relatively new idea, aren't they? I mean, in the old days, a holiday was when the king stopped hitting you for a bit. Or you might celebrate a saint's day like Saint... patron saint of alcoholics. But these days, people have 2 or 3 holidays a year, don't they? Oh, yes, we had 3 weeks on the Greek island of Asbestos. Fantastic. We all sunbathed topless. We all took our heads off. Oh, we had a lovely hotel. It was only 5 minutes from the beach. By phone. Recently, I went to Greece. I went with my girlfriend. Girlfriend's a model. At the moment, she's an airfix kit of a Stuka dive bomber. But they call Greece the land of the lotus eaters. I'm very sorry, but it's not my idea of a holiday to sit around all day eating sports cars. And all these souvenirs can be such a problem, can't they? I mean, the things people bring you back. Like when somebody brings you back a diamond that's been prized out of the eye of an evil god, and it's got a terrible case on it, and you end up getting murdered by evil thuggy fanatics. It happens all the time. By 1936, Einstein was rocking the world of science with his alternative theories of creation, in which he postulated that the Big Bang was caused by a stray cigarette end.
I have already proved that nothing can travel faster than the speed of light. The corollary of this must be that nothing can travel slower than second-class mail. Then time comes to a standstill.
Then, a year later, as the storm clouds gathered over Europe,
Einstein was forced to flee the country.
What happened to Einstein in those early war years has until now remained shrouded in mystery. But we can now reveal that between 1937 and 1940, Albert Einstein, the father of modern physics, was living in London, England, writing scripts for George Formby films.
He was put together with veteran gag writers Squib Hovercraft and Buster Gingold to work on Formby's character development and motivation. But the result of their collaboration, a gawky simpleton with big teeth who inadvertently stumbles on a new theory of particle-wave duality, was never a comfortable blend.
Come on, George. Give us a song.
Oh, all right, then.
In 1666, an apple fell on Newton's head as he was sitting out upon the lawn. When he woke from his skip, it gave him the pip, and thus the law of gravity was born. He said, this law, it's true, I'm telling you, and applies to pairs of bodies everywhere. States proportional to their weights in accordance with the little rule of inverse square. But now we know that this celestial equation are really on occasions pretty daft. Hey! And if pressed, would never have guessed when an object moves it's heavier than when it's at rest. The laws of perihelion motion have changed. Our cosmic notions now can't be compared. One night in my observatory we'd reached an impasse. Now tell me what's the matter, said the lovely young lass. I said it's latent energy condensed into mass. Because it's E equals mc squared, it's never there. Yes, it's E equals mc squared. Not on your Nelly, no, it's E equals mc squared. Turned out nice again, isn't it?
Fired from his job at British Gaumont, for 6 months in 1939, Einstein became, briefly, the 8th member of the Crazy Gang. The following year, with Hitler triumphant and no end to the war in sight, Churchill and Roosevelt, on their way back from the War Office, happened to drop into the Roxy Theatre Tooting, where a new, unknown act was topping the bill. At once, the Allied leaders knew that they had found the man whose scientific theories could help them build an atomic bomb and crush the enemy.
Turned out nice again, isn't it?
You know, people often say to me, Alexei, why are you drunk all the time? I say, because I can afford to be. But the other reason I drink a lot is because I'm a vegetarian. You see, the thing is, the booze is always made out of vegetables or fruit or grain or something. It's never made out of meat. You see, if somebody offered me like a beef wine or a pork martini, I would almost certainly refuse. Actually, I'm lying. It's not true. I don't drink at all. Just mineral water, and I work out in the gym 28 times a day, and I eat the odd free-range organic radish because I don't want to die. I'm getting old and I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Sorry. You know, when you're young, you're very devil-may-care, aren't you? Oh, yeah, I'll drink that radiator fluid. When I was young, I was very heavily into drug abuse. I used to run into Boots and shout insults at bottles of paracetamol. The Victorians put a lot of faith into weird pills and potions. And we do the same with alternative medicine. For example, for 5 years, I visited a homeopathic hypno-osteopath that I found through the small ads pages in Classified Sadist magazine. Over those 5 years, she managed to transform a minor ache into a major deformity. I got really depressed, and I made, finally, what they call a half-hearted suicide attempt. Tried to slash me wrists with a tomato. Eventually,
It was time to seek real professional help.
Mr. Sayle, the psychiatrist will see you now. You loony.
Ooh, crikey.
Now, Alexei, don't be afraid. Curing problems like yours is my game. Now I'll just say some words one at a time. And you say the first thing that comes into your mind. Ready?
Teddy?
Bad.
Man.
Sun.
Tan.
Bacon.
Lamb?
Prince of Wales.
Yes.
Brussels sprouts.
Sex.
Word association, taking me away. Word association, take the words I don't want to say. Word association, left you inside my brain. I done the word association, and it's driving me insane.
Okay. Worrying.
Sheep.
Little bow. Trouser.
Press.
Lock.
Nest.
Tortoise.
Word association is giving me away. Word association says the words I don't want to say. Word association left you inside my brain. I done the word association, and it's driving me insane.
Throne. Coffee.
Coke.
Panty.
Saxophone.
Rudolph.
Hat.
Duffel coat.
It's giving me away. Word association says the words I don't want to say. Word association lets you inside my brain. I done the word association, and it's driving me insane.
Mr. Sayle, you've got the filthiest mind. I'm really terrified of what I might find. But as a doctor, it's my duty to pursue your case. We'll do further research in back of my books. Taxi!
Cab.
Idiot.
Scab.
What?
Saxophone. Saxophone. Duffel coat.
You know, there's been some very hateful lies about me recently in the press. I'd like to catch the bastard who's been going around saying I'm anorexic. It's a complete lie. I can read and write as good as anybody. Mind you, recently I have been suffering from morning sickness. Because every time I read about the royal family, I throw up. But you know, there's a myth about the Queen. There's a myth about the Queen that whenever she speaks to anybody, they can never remember what she said. That's because the Queen actually speaks her mind. She's going up to people going, hello, you're a disgusting little working class kid, aren't you, eh? Goodness gracious, you're an abominable little person, aren't you? Yes. And they're all going, oh, God bless you, Your Majesty. Oh, blow your nose on the carpet, Your Majesty. Thank you, Your Majesty. God bless you, Your Majesty. Mind you, people do love the royals, don't they? But people would love me if I'd married Prince Charles. I absolutely love Princess Alexei in her lovely silken fettuccine gown by Pickford's. Oh, I do love it. Princess Alexei, she's so regal and gracious when she drinks 6 pints of lager.
It's a triple dose of Huell Hauser when California's Gold presents 3 very special programs. Travel from the graveyard of the Pacific to the jewel of the Spanish missions, all in one evening, March the 9th at 7:30 p.m.
The Northeast, social wasteland. But it's to this industrial desert that a new source of employment has been introduced from overseas. For here on Tyneside is the first UK factory